Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Ryan Rice. It's that time of year where a lot of us are on our off season and we need some projects to do, and at least if you can't fish, you can do things that are fishing related. So on this video, I want to go over how I turn this piece of 8-inch conduit PVC into a nice looking rod tube that will be eventually on my trailer. So you can do this pretty inexpensive. I'm going to tell you all the tools you need and all the products I use. The products either came from Home Depot or Amazon. You know, I'm lucky enough, I'm in construction, that I got the 8-inch PVC itself from a job site. You know, if you're around job sites or near like a commercial job site where they have drainage pipe or any large PVC pipe, you know, ask them, hey, do you mind if I take a little 8-foot piece or a 10-foot piece? And they may give it to you. But if you have to purchase this, I think when I looked it up, 8-inch PVC is running about $10 a foot. You know, it all depends where you are, where you're located in the country. You can do this out of 6-inch PVC, but I suggest at least 8-inch. It gives you enough room to put your rods and reels together as one piece. If you use 6-inch, you can probably only get maybe 3 in there. You know, or you maybe look a little bit more if you crisscross them and put the reels back here, and the rod tips up there, and just go back and forth. But 8-inch is a good size to use for this, because you'll be able to get more put together rods and reels than if you use a 6-inch. But if you only can get 6-inch and you're on a little bit more of a budget, 6-inch works just as fine. I used to have 6 inches in the back, in the past. Keep it clean. So you're gonna want to try to get 8-inch if you can. So to do this, you're gonna need 2 types of paint. You're gonna need your end caps to go on the ends. And the end cap kit comes with the holders that go around it to support it to either a ladder rack, or I'm going to be mounting this on a trailer or any flat surface. You can do it on a roof rack. You can put them in all different places. Anywhere you have an ability to put the U-bolts right around this and put it on a flat surface. But I'm going to put all the links in the description of where I got everything. The caps came from Amazon. It's a pretty inexpensive kit. I think it was like $70 or $80 from buyers. And it comes with the end caps. It comes with the U-bolts and the brackets that you put on a flat surface to help you mount this. I mean, if you don't have that, you can just use threaded rod bent around it and coming down around it, but you're going to end up rubbing through the paint on the backside if you have something either cushioning it or some other thing to protect it on the bottom. So I suggest just buying the kit, because at least it gives you an area where the shape of the rod tube holders, which I'll show you here, it gives you a place to rest that tube on there, and it's flat, and you can see it's flat back here, and this is going to mount to the trailer. I did paint these black, but I'm going to probably wrap electrical tape around this just as a cushion to protect against this. And no matter what, the paint's still going to chip off because it's metal, and all this stuff. But once I have it on the trailer, I'll probably do a little bit of touch up. But yeah, I'm definitely going to wrap electrical tape around the U-bolt itself to give this a little bit of protection, and that tape will hold on there better. So I would use like a good 3M black electrical tape, which is probably $5 a roll now, and it'll hold up better than just paint. So the items you're going to need to do this is a cordless drill, or a drill, and a bit set to line up accordingly to the size that you need for your rivets. And the reason why I suggest using rivets at the end caps instead of nuts and bolts or just screws is because it makes it a lot easier with somebody just to come up to your rod tube and just take a screwdriver or whatever and back the screws out, and they can take it off. We know today with cordless grinders and cordless sawzalls, you can pretty much take anything you want, these days. But, with the rivets, putting the end caps in, it has a less chance of it ever backing out or coming loose, and it's a lot easier to steal now that you just cut the PVC pipe and get access to it. But we use rivets on it, and the rivets I used was a 3/16 by 1 inch long. They're a little bit longer than probably needed, but I like having the ability, because you'll see inside here how I mushroom the heads with these, but this gave me the length that I needed to get through the end cap and the PVC itself to schedule 40. You're going to need a rivet gun. And the paint I used is the Krylon Fusion. And Krylon Fusion, it's basically in the name. It fuses to PVC and almost melts onto it. And I use a semi-gloss Krylon Fusion paint to do this. and it's an all-in-one primer, and I use semi-gloss black. And the reason why I use semi-gloss over matte is because it makes it shiny, and when you add a semi-gloss, you can say use a Rustoleum, it's called Gloss Smoke Gray to give me that color. Now they make the Rustoleum in a bunch of different colors, but the reason why I want semi-gloss, as you can see, it makes it shiny and almost like it looks like marble. You know, they make this color from Rustoleum, the Rust Stop, and I'll put these links. I got this and this from Home Depot. I got the end cap from Amazon, and obviously I don't have an extra one laying around, but that's where I got that. But I'll put all the links in the description below. But I use a Gloss Smoke Gray, but they make this in yellow, red, green. They have a whole bunch of pre-mixed colors there that you could pick from. And this is the accent color, and this is your base. You know, so the Krylon Fusion, it just really, you know, attaches to the PVC, and all you got to do on that pipe is just kind of clean it up. There's no sanding required. You know, make sure if there's any oil or grease on it, make sure you get that off. But all I did is I took the 8-inch tube, piece of pipe, and I just did a little bit of soap and water, cleaned it off, let it dry, and then I started putting this on it. So that's it. This is all you need to be able to do a rod tube and make it look a little bit cooler than just keeping it white or gray or green, because I actually had a drainage pipe that I got from the job site that I was able to get. But you can see how nice it looks, a nice shiny finish to it. It also gives you the ability to attach stickers to it. So obviously I'm going to put my YouTube channel vinyl on there, and I think when I'm all said and done, I may even apply over my vinyl. I may even apply like a spray polyurethane just to kind of hold the vinyl on there a little bit more. And as you can see on the inside here, I also touched up the green area with black paint too that you see right at the beginning, and you can see how the rivets come in a little bit, so they're not sharp. You know, they have a smooth finish, and obviously it's farther back than where your rods are going to sit anyway. So being a little bit longer with that 1-inch rivet, it really doesn't protrude into that far. By the time it mushrooms, there ain't much sticking through it at all. But you know, I can see I got to do a little bit more touch up there on the green. But you know, the rivets will keep people from easily be able to just unscrew this end cap and get access to it, because once you put the end cap on and close it, you can put a padlock through it right through there. Like I said, you know, this keeps honest people honest. You know, you can just take a Sawzall and cut the pipe and get access to it. You can take a cordless grinder. And one other thing too, I'm going to show you guys in a minute, is at the end of the end cap here, because it completely doesn't seal, I also took some black silicone around this and filled in that little bit of void you have around there to keep it watertight, and also helps it attach to the PVC as well, besides just the rivets, and gives it a good seal. And the black silicone I used is just the GE Supreme Silicone, 100% waterproof in black. You know, it says it's rain ready in 30 minutes, it's shrink and crack proof, and it has a lifetime guarantee on it. And I got this from Home Depot as well. I'll put the link in the description for this. So that is it, guys. This is all you need to do this, and just have a little bit of time, you know, to do this. But if it's your off season and your kayak or your boat's put away, now's the time to do this. And it just takes these little bit of products. I even got the rivets on Amazon. I'll leave that link too, and I'll leave the link for the end cap. So let's get on to how I actually finished this tube with a scrap piece of 4-inch I have laying around, and I'll show you how easy it is. So when I did my conduit, my 8-inch tube, I stood it on the floor, put a piece of cardboard underneath it, but I suggest doing your pipe vertically. This way you can go all the way around it on one shot. And you don't want to go heavy with this, because you want to, you know, being it's vertical, you don't want a bunch of runs and drips coming down this, so you want to go thin. And I only did one coat on that because I knew I was going to do the touch-up, you know, the accent paint, sorry. I knew I was going to do the accent paint. So your accent paint, because you know PVC, you know, this pipe gets thrown around, you know there's going to be like little gouges in it and dings, etc. So that touch-up color, I keep saying touch-up, that accent color, you know, you put over that, and you're going to see how I put it on. It hides any imperfections. So you just want to just take a can, and you can see I have a Rustoleum, like little handle thing that goes on the end of your spray paint. It's just easier, especially if you do a lot of spray paint and use it. It's almost like a trigger. And just go on and just go real thin. You know, because even on my 8-inch tube, I actually had some runs coming down. But those runs and imperfections you can hide with your accent color. I got it right that time. So let's give it a thin coat. You're gonna wanna do this in a ventilated area because this Fusion paint is a lot stronger smelling than normal spray paint. So just picture this as an 8-inch tube, just real thin. And like I said, I only did one coat. You can do more than one coat if you want, but I just did one coat on mine and was enough. I mean, you know, the way you can do this, if you ever have any problems down the line with you having to touch up that tube, you can just paint it in place and do your, you know, your accent color on whatever it's mounted to, you know, just protect what you're going around. So that's it. Now this stuff is pretty wicked smelling. It will fuse to the PVC and it does a really good bond. You know, once you got this laying down and you got your, you know, your end caps on it, that's when I went around, you know, because you're not going to see the ends of the PVC, but you're going to see inside. You can leave it the natural color, or like I said, I just hit inside and just touch it up and you know, where you can see at the end, and just did some of the black, just to give it a little bit nicer look when you open the door. So what I did on my tube is I let this sit for about a week before I touched it. This way, you know, depending on where you are, it may be cold, it may be humid right now, and when, you know, when I did it, it was kind of humid, so I let it sit for a week so it really cured before I actually did my accent color. So to speed this up for the video, this way I could do this, you know, in a timely manner, I'm actually going to take a heat gun. I don't suggest doing this, but I'm going to take a heat gun to help this dry so I can show you how I did the accent color. So, I mean, you can probably do this too if you want, you know, just to help speed up the process, but we're just going to just help the paint dry a little bit faster for this video. You know, who knows, maybe the heat gun actually may help it attach a little bit better, but obviously you don't want to catch it on fire because heat and spray paint, you know, normally will could catch on fire. So we're just going to speed this up with a little bit of a heat gun. So hang on tight. I'm going to get this dry enough that we can show you how to do the accent color. So actually, while I'm doing this may be a little tip. It's actually drying it really nice. It may help it bake on a little bit better. You know, I didn't do this. I just let the, you know, like nature take its course. But actually using this heat gun, you know, far enough away, it's taking the tackiness away from it pretty good, and it feels like it's really baking it on. So maybe using the heat gun for your, you know, your initial black coat of the Krylon Fusion may be a good suggestion. You know, maybe next time, because I plan on making another tube down the line. I'm just starting out with one tube right now. It's just going to help, you know, hold my, you know, some extra rods and stuff for my son or whoever comes fishing with me, you know, when I get to put it on the trailer. But my main thing to me holding my rods is actually my Yakima rod locker that I'm going to be putting on the trailer. But this is just, you know, I have On the Water Innovations, you know, when they're making me the trailer, I got them setting me up for the rod tubes, you know, because, you know, we're not all made of money, so I had to save a little bit of money doing my own rod tubes. Plus, you know, I get the satisfaction of doing it, and I can do exactly how I want it with my accent color. But you know, they're putting 2 brackets actually on the trailer, so I can mount the 1 tube, and I'll have the ability in the future to actually put 2 tubes, which would be nice. You know, Denny will customize it however you want. They're gonna put brackets up top on an angle to you know, support my Yakima rod locker thing. But that's pretty dry, and as you can see, it's super shiny. I mean, it's not perfectly dry. I can see my fingerprints on it, but it's dry enough for us to get through this video and show you how I did this. So one thing I also forgot to tell you too is you're going to want to, you know, that you can buy these at Home Depot. It's just a pack of like 10 of throwaway brushes, and it's a rough bristle, and that's what I wanted for my actual accent color. Is it'll be a little bit more rough, so it gives you a little bit more of that flare, and you know, the bristles spread out. But this is one thing I forgot to say that you needed. You're also going to need a caulk gun too, but they also make that black silicone and like squeezy tubes, so you don't necessarily need a caulk gun. Your accent color, it doesn't take much to do this. You don't need much paint. You just take your brush, just lightly dip it into the color. Like I said, it doesn't need much paint. And I just start dabbing it like this, you know, and kind of doing a crisscross. And you know, you want to, you know, you can do as much or as little as you want, but this is the time when you see any imperfections in your conduit, is I would just kind of cover that up with the paint, and just take your, you know, paint. I just kind of just dab it on like this. Like I said, you don't have to do, you can do as much or as little as you want, and just kind of work it. You can take some of the paint that's on the tube already, that's a little thick, and just spread it around. You know, with your semi-gloss, it gives it a nice sheen. Like I said, it gives you that marble look. And you can do as much or as little as you want. You know, to do this part, you're going to want to lay your rod tube down instead of trying to stand it, just so you don't tip it over. I mean, you could lightly probably do it while it's standing, but all I did is I just laid it on its side, did what I wanted to do for it, you know, or add to it, let it dry for probably about an hour, and then I just rolled it over and continued. So just like I said, just keep working your way around, do as much or as little as you want. You know, once again, I use the heat gun to speed up the process for this video. And, you know, to be honest with you, I think the heat gun may be a nice little added touch to it to help this dry a little faster, and it may help it cure a little bit better to the PVC too. So if you have a heat gun, maybe use it and just, you know, help it cure a little bit. But you can just crisscross it, but you can see I'm not adding much paint to it, just a little bit. And I have little areas where it's a little bit thicker. I took that and I just kind of took it and spread it out a little bit. But, you know, you can do this, like I said, you can do it as heavy or as light as you want to. I kind of like it on the lighter side, you know, like the lighter parts here. So it's, you can still see a lot of the black through it, but you still have some, you know, texture to it. You can do a couple of the, you know, you can do a couple of the heavier spots like that and let that dry. It's going to take a little bit longer to dry there, but, you know, I like it light, you know, but just add a couple of those heavy dots to it is what I did, and you're happy, you know, more dabs, I guess you could say, heavier dabs of paint. And that kind of gives you the aspect of what your tube will look like. So we're going to let this dry and see what the final outcome is, which it looks good already. You know, so the heat gun, maybe in the colder elements, you know, or even in the humid elements, it may actually help it cure better and attach to this pipe is what I'm thinking. So maybe we'll add this little step in there if you have the ability. But, you know, I didn't use a heat gun. I just let everything sit for a week in between. Then I came back and I did the accent color and, you know, let that dry for a couple days standing up. And that was it, really. But you know, this heat gun, I kind of actually like it. You know, it just speeds up the step, especially if you're limited on time. You know, just keep it far enough away that you don't melt the paint, bubble the paint, you know, or melt your pipe. You just keep it, just kind of keep working it really fast, almost like a blow dryer. You know, that's another option too. If you don't have your heat gun, you could use a blow dryer. Use, you know, your girl's blow dryer. If you burn it out, then you might have to buy her a new one. But you can do matte. I mean, if you don't like the gloss, you can do matte, you know, paint with a gloss accent color. You know, if you like it not shiny all the way through. I was actually thinking about vinyl wrapping the tube, but I kind of like this look a little bit better. And you know, also the cost of vinyl wrap is a little expensive too anyway right now. So now that's done, you can see from the lights above me how shiny this is and how nice this looks. You know, like my wife said, it looks like it's marble. And I do like the silver and the black. It'll kind of go with any of the vehicles that I'm running. You know, it kind of matches everything. But like I said, you can do yellow, green, red. You know, you can get colors mixed too if you want like a special color or a custom color. You can get exterior, you know, paint from Rustoleum and have them mix it there for you and just get the base white, you know, and have them do the color. So after your paint cures, all you got to do is take your end cap pieces and you take your drill and get the right bit, you know, based on your rivet. And this end cap from Buyers does not come with any pre-drilled holes. So you got to drill through the aluminum, through the PVC. I would suggest getting one rivet in that hole just to hold it in place, whether you just push it through and let it sit. But actually I pushed it through and actually set that rivet. And it's going to shift around on the end of your conduit. And all you got to do is get, you know, I got 4 rivets in this. And once they pull through and, you know, suck tight, it's going to shift the plate around a little bit. So for the most part, it was evenly gapped around the PVC, but then I just took that black silicone and I filled in that gap, which gives you a watertight seal. You know, same thing for the actual end cap itself. You know, non-door side, you know, this just comes regular aluminum. I did paint these black with the same Krylon Fusion paint. Now, this may get scratched up, you're going to want to touch it up, but I just, you know, painted this, the metal, and I let this sit in the sun, and because this comes natural aluminum color, same thing for both sides. I mean, you can leave it natural aluminum color because it'll actually match the rivets. I didn't paint the rivets just for the simple fact that I think there's an oil on it and the paint wasn't holding good to it. But you know, at the same time, these rivets being shown, people realize there's not just screws in this, it's rivets. So it actually stands out saying, hey, I'm harder to break into. So we leave in the rivets the color, but like I said, you don't have to paint the caps. You can leave them the natural aluminum color. But I think the black, you know, the black cap is gives it a nice look, you know, and then you got the lid here that opens up from buttons. Now, I think Denny may use the same product when he does his tubes, when he builds his trailers. And they were saying that, I guess from the rough ride, sometimes in the trailer, I think some people's doors were actually opening on it, and he's actually doing an extra weld tack to this. We're gonna see how it holds out. I mean, with the padlock on there, even if the hinge comes off, it should still, you know, with the padlock on there, it should still kind of keep your rods intact and you're not losing them down the road. But he did have somebody say that a couple of the customers did lose the door off the rod tube. So, you know, I'm not sure if that's, you know, operator error or they're just being rough on these. They do make different end caps. You know, we're going to see how this one holds up. Like I said, for the price at like 70 bucks or 80 bucks, whatever I paid for it, we're going to give it a shot. If it gets really flimsy and, you know, not durable, not holding up, we'll just cut this rod tube here, you know, cut the PVC off, and we'll just put a new different rod, you know, a PVC cap at the end of this. We'll just use a different one and change it out. I mean, they do make, you know, caps for these that range up to, you know, a good, I think 150, 160. I think I've even seen $180 for these caps. But we're gonna give this, you know, less expensive ones, which I've used in the past and never had a problem with them on my 6-inch tubes. But we're gonna give these a shot and see how well they hold up. If it don't, we'll just cut it off and put a different cap on there and rivet it on. But I think overall, for how simple this is, it looks really nice instead of just leaving it white, black. You know, you can get black PVC or whatever color PVC you have. I think it just adds a nice custom touch to wherever you mount this to, whether it's on a vehicle, on a trailer, any other flat surface you can attach it to. And like I said before, with the brackets that come with the, and you know, the cap kit, I'm going to wrap some electrical black tape around these U-bolts, because you can already see just from me just throwing it around the shop here, it's already starting to get some chips on it. So I figured that'd be good just to wrap this with electrical tape and also give it some cushion against the painted tube, and it will hold up a lot better than just paint, you know, being on just a little simple piece of metal. That Krylon Fusion is good. It's made for plastic, metal, wood, etc. But I mean, nothing still takes away the chips. And everything else, you can see it's actually flaking off in my hand. So we'll just touch this up with some electrical tape. And we'll just touch this up a little bit once it's on the trailer. I shouldn't have to worry about getting dinged off as much. So overall, the cost to do this, I was able to get this piece from a job site. You know, if you have that ability or, you know, the luck of the draw or whatever you want to say, to be able to get the PVC off a job site, that's going to save you the biggest chunk of money right there, because this is averaging about, when I looked, about $10 a foot. So you usually have to buy at least a 10-foot section. So you got $100 for the PVC. The cap, I think, is 70 or 80. I know it's not more than $80 on Amazon, so that's 180 right there. And then the paint itself, you know, the can of the Krylon Fusion's about $5 a can. You only need one can, even with a 8-inch tube. I was able to do it with one can. So it's $185. The little quart of the accent color, I think, was like 10 bucks. So it's $195. And your rivets, you know, if you have a rivet gun, obviously you don't have to buy it, but the rivets were about another 10 bucks. So that's about, what, we're at 205 or whatever. And a tube of good caulk. So let's say 5 to 10. So for basically like $210, you can have a nice rod tube like this. It looks custom. It adds a little bit of touch to wherever you mount this. And it just, you know, you'll get comments. I'm sure I'm going to get comments about this, questions, you know, where did you get that? And I was able to do, you know, make it look however I wanted to, you know, whatever accent color. And I was able to see it in person while it's being done, and be able to do this myself just because I can. You know, and it saves me money that I could spend on other gear or, you know, donate to my own charity. So overall, I hope you guys like this video. You can see how simple it is. I don't ask this that much, but if you could like, subscribe to my channel and help us grow. You know, I'm going to keep doing more videos like this. You know, this idea of doing this video actually came from Fishing with Gramps. He's like, oh, I love your tube. He said, you should do a video on it, you know, just simple things like that, that I should have thought about that when I was doing the actual tube to show you how this is done. But, you know, normally when I'm working on something, I just want to get it done and over with and, you know, get it accomplished. But I had to start thinking like a YouTuber. I got to start thinking everything I do and how I do it, I got to start videoing for you guys to be able to share, you know, how something's done if you had never done it before, or see how I've done it. You know, everybody can do this differently. This is just my thoughts about this. You know, the Krylon Fusion, actually On the Water Innovations told me what they used. I don't want to take business away from them, but you know, Mike told me what they use for their base color, and it is what it is. I mean, we're all on budgets. You know, if we're all millionaires, we could have anything custom that we wanted done for us. But you know, when you're on a budget, you got to do this stuff yourself, or you just want to dress it up a bit and make your stuff looks nice. You know, make your stuff look nicer. You know how it comes. You just got to do it yourself, right? So when I mount the tube to my trailer, I'll actually do a video of that too, and my rod box, how I'm going to do it to the trailer. And I will show you how I'm mounting that to the trailer, you know, before I actually show you my walkthrough on my trailer. So, you know, my trailer is actually going to go right here. You know, that's why I'm getting a smaller trailer. So that's a whole nother video, guys. You know, so if there's anything that you guys see that I've done to my kayak or done to any, you know, my vehicle, my trailers, and for some reason I didn't record it, and you guys have some questions about it, just hit me up, and you know, I can do a video on it, how I put it on or how I did it, or explain it to you over the phone or whatever, over social media, whatever, however you guys want to do it, and I will help you guys along. As always, guys, be safe on the water. You can reach me anytime on any of my social medias. You can email me any questions at rjmfishtails@icloud.com. And I hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas, and I will catch you guys on the water soon. So stay tuned for some on the water video. We're going to continue our monthly challenge for KBF for December coming up, but we're letting this cold front come through. All right, guys, catch you next time.